Hey everybody, welcome back to the Weiner Wellness Virtual Summit. And with us today we have Mike Gallagher, outside sales professional for Nutritional Frontiers and wellness educator. He's going to be talking to us about the 5R program for GI health, immune, depression, and even concussions. So Mike, we're so glad to have you here. I'm going to let you take it away, but if you need me, I'll be in the background.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Tracy. So GI is an extremely important part of health. There's so many things associated with it. Obviously, any type of GI dysfunction, and it all starts with the food, as we can see on this diagram. So this is a great illustration, exactly what we're referring to. But before we get into the specifics of GI health, I just want to mention, as Dr. Tracy just alluded to, several key other factors why GI health is so important. So your immune system, okay? So I know a lot of people are taking vitamin D and zinc and quercetin right now and Immunomax and vitamin C and on, and all those things are excellent, beneficial. But I just want to remind everybody, in your GI tract. So if we're not doing anything for your GI, we're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. That's number one. Secondly, depression, serotonin. Only 5% of your serotonin is actually in your brain. 95% of serotonin is actually in your stomach. So a lot of, again, there's people, of course, the medication, allopathic medical model, you have your antidepressants, serotonin reuptake inhibitors like Prozac, but that is only working on 5%, folks. The other 95% is in your stomach. So for anybody out there who is feeling depressed right now, again, let's work on your stomach. And we're going to talk about what we can do today. And then the last thing, and this is some very new groundbreaking research, is the benefits of GI health regards to concussion. So what the research is now showing, within the first 3 hours of getting a concussion, it actually can cause leaky gut. So this is why so many people who get concussions feel very nauseous, have trouble eating or vomiting, throwing up. And this is why it actually triggers leaky gut. So always remember, leaky gut equals leaky brain, and leaky brain equals leaky gut. So not only would we recommend our GI Complete formula, and we're going to go into detail about this, but we're also going to, for concussions, clinically, we've seen great results with our Brain Boost. Okay, so we would start at higher dosing. Initially, we would recommend 2 scoops a day of the GI Complete, 1 morning, 1 night. In our Brain Boost, we would recommend 6 a day initially, 3 and 3, until a person feels better. And it doesn't matter what age they are. For example, there's one of my other accounts, has a daughter, 14 years old. She just got a concussion playing volleyball. And she started this, and the doctors can't believe it. The coaches can't believe it, how fast she's turned around. And then I have another scenario, the opposite, where I have another account who had a concussion. She's in her 60s right now. She had a concussion when she was a teenager, and she did nothing to heal her gut when I asked her about this. And she started this, and she felt like she felt amazing. And that's, so there it is, 40 years later. And she felt great. So I just want to mention that, folks. There's so many other ways that we can help people when it comes to the gut. So those are just a couple points. Now, obviously, GI issues. So let's talk about that. All right. What are we discussing here? So all your GI issues from minor to major. So let's break it on down. So again, if this does not pertain to you, it might pertain to somebody in your family. It usually has a family member has these issues, but I call it the ABCs: abdominal pain, bloatiness, constipation, and or diarrhea. Okay. So if anybody has those issues, we can help. Then we go up a notch. Okay. Acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, GERD. And then we go up another notch. These are major issues: Crohn's, colitis, irritable bowel, inflammatory bowel, celiac. So all those issues we can help out with. Okay, so we're going to discuss this program. We have a lot of options. We have a lot of information. We'll try to simplify it here at the end. But let's go back to this diagram, because again, it all starts with our food. When we're eating the healthy foods, again, prefer Mediterranean style diet, organic as much as possible, know your sources, as much fresh fruits and vegetables as possible. That helps as far as the good bacteria. When we're eating the fast foods and the bad foods and the junk food and the sugar and the processed foods and medications and so forth, again, we get the downside. And over time, it can cause yeast, toxicity, and parasites play a role as well as leaky gut. Okay, so again, it's not a one-time occurrence, but chronic eating over a period of time will have a major impact. So the whole point with this, again, these are supplements. We're not telling anybody to get off their medications. You always want to work with your prescribing physician. But if we change your diet and your lifestyle, and we're taking the right supplements in the right dosages, the right forms over time, working with your doctor, hopefully you can reduce your medications in it at all. We, of course, are not making any claims, but we've had numerous hundreds and thousands of cases at this point that we've helped people with these programs as we go through this. Okay. All right, so let's see here.
And click the PowerPoint icon at the bottom, and then see if you can advance it then.
There we go. Thank you, Tracy. All right. So again, extremely important part of everybody's healthcare plan. We need that strong intestinal function, overall good health. And again, is what I was referring to a second ago. When we made this PowerPoint a few years ago, approximately 70%, I've seen some recent studies showing up to 80% of your immune system is in your GI tract. We know it's one of the top reasons why people seek out doctors and healthcare practitioners for GI issues. Statistically, 70 million people suffer some sort of GI issue. By the way, that's just US stats. So again, there's 300 million, give or take. So 1 in 4, 1 in 5 people statistically suffer some sort of GI issue. Okay, so the whole idea is that things that are supposed to be in your GI tract, right, instead are getting outside of this intestinal barrier and entering the circulation. Okay, so we actually call this is the actual medical term as leaky gut syndrome. Okay, so when you have leaky gut, it can lead to a host of different issues. So not only any of those GI issues that I just mentioned, but autoimmune issues. Okay, so this is really hard for people to realize and understand, especially things like rheumatoid arthritis, because they feel pain in their hands or anywhere else throughout the body. But, you know, I always ask a person, you know, what's the cause? You know, ask your rheumatologist, what's the cause of rheumatoid arthritis? They'll answer, I don't know. They'll just say it's chronic inflammation. We don't know why your body's attacking itself. Well, there's been great research in our field in the last several years that actually have shown that leaky gut is the link, is the source for most autoimmune issues, especially rheumatoid. And I have a couple cases that had rheumatoid arthritis and did our GI program along with vitamin D and fish oil and a few other things, and avoided your common food allergens such as gluten and dairy and egg, and saw dramatic difference. Okay, so keep that in mind for any autoimmune issue. Let's focus on the gut as well. Eczema, which is also candida related, which again is leaky gut connection, and on it goes. Okay, so it's never a bad thing to start with your gut, because it relates to all these other different types of issues. Okay, so the normal function of GI, again, is for the proper way of helping it. But let's talk about some other reasons why we have GI problems. Okay, self-medication, heartburn, antacids, Tums, things like this. Almost half the population is self-medicating for these different type of GI issues. And maybe temporarily these might help, But if you ever turn around and turn the bottle, and now these things are over the counter, like Prilosec and Nexium and things like this, you don't even need a prescription for it. If you ever read the insert, it says do not take for more than 2 weeks, unless unless working with a prescribed physician. Okay, it says it right on there. And what happens after 2 weeks is it starts destroying your own body's ability to break down food, and then you become dependent on these medications. So these are only meant to be short term. If never, would be even better. We have some great alternatives to these, so we'll talk about those here in a moment. But again, they're not the answer. And then another reason why we have GI issues is the NSAIDs, your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, such as Aleve and Advil and things like this. Okay, we've seen studies after just 3 days that can actually cause GI leaky tears, GI bleeding, as well as ulcers. Okay, so again, this is not the answer either. We have some very powerful natural anti-inflammatories like our X-Flame or Inflame, of course, omega fish oil, turmeric. All these things are much safer and get to the root of helping to for pain issues than taking an NSAID. Okay, and again, if you go that direction, you do not want to take it for more than 3 days. Okay. Unfortunately, we know a lot of people take these. Again, statistically, 13 million people are taking them every single day. All right, and they shouldn't. 3 days, folks. 3 days. So let's talk about the GI tract. So our body is just an amazing machine. The actual GI tract, if we were to pull it out, covers over 900 square feet, right? Which is basically a size of a basketball court. If you went from one end to the other, that is in every one of our systems. Think about that for a second, how amazing our bodies are. And it's designed to allow these nutrients and other bacteria and other things like this help good bacteria. But if you have leaky gut, the molecules and these type of things, as I said, that are supposed to be inside your gut are now going outside the gut, and it's causing problems. All right, so this is the technical side of leaky gut. All right, so besides what I mentioned already, excessive use of corticosteroids, of course, alcohol, infections, antibiotics. Okay, these are just a few of many reasons. And you wonder why so many people have GI issues, because people are taking these every day as a band-aids and they think they're helping, and long term it's actually hurting. Okay, so let's get a little more technical here. So the leaky gut may be associated with what's called the GALT, the activation of gut-associated lymphoid tissue. So the GALT is like the Marines. Okay, it's the first line of defense. If you have an infection or any bacteria or anything your body recognizes as a foreign invader, it starts attacking it. Okay, so it does its job really well. However, it does it too well, because what happens, it overstimulates, and over time it can cause inflammatory tissue damage. And again, this is exactly what happens with rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so the body thinks something is a foreign invader, it attacks it, it does its job too well, and then you start having pain in other parts of your body. Okay, so during this activation, antibodies produced generating what's called cytokines. And cytokines now, of course, are very popular in the news with cytokine storm, with COVID related. Again, the same type of issue going on, but on the GI level here. So that affects our immune system. So again, fighting that foreign invader. So again, the connection with immune and GI, it all starts with the GALT. Okay, so again, it does its job too well, unfortunately, which can destroy our other tissues. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So that is what causes this leaky gut and chronic and systematic inflammation. So here's a simple way. Let's use a simple analogy for everybody to understand. So think of your stomach lining as a screen door, okay, in your kitchen. So what's the benefit of a screen door? it is to protect bugs from getting inside, right? Causing all kinds of havoc. In this case, the screen door is to protect these nutrients from keeping inside your stomach. So if you have any of these issues that we just talked about, it causes little peripheral tears in tissue, starts eating the villi, the hair-like on your stomach lining. And again, over time, causes this type of leaky gut to occur, which then, again, bugs going out into the rest of your body. So the difference between a drug approach and our approach is drugs block the screen door, okay? They do not fix, they do not repair, right? Where we are getting to the root cause and actually fixing and repairing. So that's the difference in the separation between a nutritional approach and the medication approach, okay? All right, so if we had to just pick one thing and one thing only, it would be the GI Complete, okay? So this is the most comprehensive GI formula on the market. We'll talk about all about it here in a moment. If we combine it with probiotics and digestive enzymes, that is your core program for any GI issue. It's going to give you the fastest relief of any type of GI issue, and it will help with all GI issues. Okay, these three things. We try to keep this as simple as possible. Okay, and you know, even the allopathic model back in '96, JAMA said that they're looking at other more therapeutic benefits than antibiotics because they know people are becoming more, they're not as effective, people building resistance to these. And again, even in the medical literature is talking about using probiotics all the way back 20 years ago. So let's talk about probiotics first. Okay, so again, I know every company has probiotics, everybody says they're the greatest, but we really have the research to back this up. And we really broke it down into just 4 main ones, depending on the type of condition that you're dealing with, okay? So we'll go into more detail in a minute, but this whole program, we really defined it as called the 5R program. So number 1, remove. So let's remove the offending substances. And these are also what we talk about as far as food triggers, okay? So everybody has a different food trigger. Statistically speaking, dairy, gluten, and egg, 90% of the population is sensitive, and that's the word we would like to use, sensitive to one of those 3 foods. Okay, so if we had to pick any foods, those would be the 3. Now, I know here at the clinic, Jeff Nisnik, he does food sensitivity testing, and he can actually reverse these food allergens. I know there's some other doctors out there who do blood work, food sensitivity testing as far as that goes. So, but here at the clinic, Jeff is fantastic as far as identifying what foods you have and also helping to treat those actual food allergies and sensitivity issues. So that is always the first step. We can only do so much. If you keep eating the foods that are causing the inflammatory response, we're just kind of spinning in neutral. So we really want to emphasize this, the removal. Okay, replacing those digestive enzymes, fiber, and stomach acid. Okay, we'll talk about how we can do that here in a moment. And then third, re-inoculation. And this is where probiotics help replacing the good bacteria in your GI tract. Number 4, repairing. Okay, fixing that screen door, regenerating the GI mucosal tissue to actually heal and repair leaky gut. Okay, that's the separation. And of course, relief, acute relief, such as acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion. We can do that very, very quickly with the Probzyme, for example. So this program has been utilized for years and years. We have hundreds of doctors who use this program with great success. So folks, it does work if you give this a chance. And that's all we can ask you. Give this a chance. So let's dig a little deeper here and find out what formulas that can help with these different aspects. So on the remove aspect, so you're going to see GI Complete all throughout every one of these R's. GI Complete can help. That's number 1. Microgon helps with parasites, and candida. It's a very unique tincture. It actually works on multiple levels. So if you feel you have those issues, or again, we suggest come in and get tested by Jeff, Microgon can be very helpful. SBC is a very unique probiotic. We'll talk about it more in a moment. Saccharomyces boulardii, that really helps with yeast, especially yeast and candida overgrowth. Frontier Fiber, again, we use a very unique fiber formula on the market, trademark patented form of fiber. Most fiber on the market, especially commercial fiber, increases blood sugar. This does not. It stabilizes blood sugar. Very, very unique. And of course, our greens will also help. So from a fruit and vegetable standpoint, it helps detoxify, alkalize, as well as remove these pathogens. Okay, so again, you can do any of these, but if I had to choose one, it would be the GI Complete. Okay, so removing, again, all the bad stuff from the body. Okay, number 2, replacing dietary fiber, gastric hydrochloric acid, okay, and digestive enzymes. So the fiber I just mentioned, it's there's no taste to it. 1 teaspoon is 5 grams. We use it in a lot of our formulas, by the way, our shakes and our colors already. But if you need additional fiber, this is going to be the best fiber. There's no grittiness to it whatsoever. So again, we have that available if you need additional fiber. On the gastric hydrochloric acid betazyme. So this will help on that aspect. It will also help if you have gallbladder issues or you don't have a gallbladder at all. The betazyme is excellent for that purpose too. So it has multiple benefits. We would recommend it, the betazyme, typically 1 with the last bite of each meal. Then we have another digestive enzyme just called Cybezyme, and this is just your basic everyday digestive enzyme. And we would recommend taking that with the first bite of your meal. So Cybezyme with the first bite, Betazyme with the last bite. But then we have the Probzyme, and we're going to talk about this more in a minute, but the Probzyme actually has digestive enzymes and probiotics. So it's very unique combination in a chewable. We have 3 flavors now: fruit punch, grape, or cherry on the Probzyme. Okay. All right. Re-Inoculation. This is where the probiotics come into play. So this is, so folks, there's so many different strains out there when it comes to probiotics. So we just want to point out a probiotic is really not a probiotic unless it has the genus, the species, and the actual strain that it identifies with the actual studies and the research. So that's something that you should always look for when it comes to probiotics. Okay. And so we have 4 options: the Super, the Frontier, the SBC, and the Probzyme. Each one has their place. Now, again, Jeff Nisnik can muscle test you here at the clinic to see which one would be better, but I'm just going to give you some general recommendations and how we position each so you have a better understanding of them. Now, one of the things that we have with our probiotics, and this is also very unique in the industry, is that we have the studies, some very unique studies, all right? And one of the things is, does it pass the acid bile test? So a lot of doctors do not believe that probiotics can actually pass through the acid bile, and therefore they think it gets broken down before it even gets to where it should be. But we actually have the research. We actually have the studies that shows our probiotic strains does pass the acid bile. So that's really important question to ask if you're using any other probiotics on the market. And then these are the other really important questions, okay? So when we were researching probiotics, we reached out to every probiotic manufacturer out there in the industry, and we asked these questions, okay? Do you have in vitro, so in the laboratory, animal, and human clinical studies with your probiotic strains? And there was only one source in the world that we actually had this kind of research, and we had to go all the way to Denmark. All right, so we scoured the world, literally scoured the world to get you the best of the best when it comes to, in this case, probiotics. But again, folks, if you're using any other probiotic strain or any other probiotic company, rather, Ask them these questions. Do you have this? This is the holy grail research. This is what drug companies are showing doctors, with their, they have these kind of studies, and we can say exactly the same thing with our probiotic strains. So it really sets us apart. We have all these studies on our website that anybody can go check it out under research. So it'll have all the information you need. We're just giving you a little glimpse of the research that we have on this. Okay. So the three formulas to re-inoculate, right? Number 3, formulas to re-inoculate. So let's talk about those here in a moment. Actually, let's break these down, okay? So the superbiotics is the one I recommend for any major GI issue, okay? Such as colitis, Crohn's, irritable bowel, inflammatory bowel, or celiac, okay? It's going to make the GI complete work faster. Will it help on its own? Yes, but most people want faster, quicker results. So if you combine the probiotics with the GI complete, you're going to get the fastest result, okay? Most efficient result. So super would be for your major GI issues. The Probzyme I recommend for, let's say, more mild GI issues, acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, GERD. Okay, so the Probzyme you can take as such as like a natural Tums. If you're having those issues, one, you would take 2 at once, wait 15 minutes. 9 times out of 10, you'll feel 100% relief. If you do not, then we take 2 more. Okay, so you can use Probzyme that way. You can also use it just as an everyday probiotic. If you prefer chewables, it's great just to take 1 with each meal. It's also fantastic for kids. It's fantastic for pregnant women. There's several doctors we work with that through the years got pregnant and absolutely swear by the Probzyme to help them through the pregnancy because they usually have those type of issues. So totally safe for anybody to take the Probzyme. But if you have those more milder issues, as I said, we need to be more aggressive to knock it out. Okay. Very interesting too with the Probzyme. I just want to mention recently. One became aware is that one of the symptoms with COVID is loss of sense of taste and smell. And one of our other accounts, she took the Probzyme away from meal on an empty stomach. And so what do we mean by that? So she took 1 an hour and a half before breakfast, 1 an hour and a half around lunchtime, and then 1 an hour and a half away from dinner. So empty stomach. And she immediately got her sense of taste right back. And then she texted me about it. And she was super excited. Okay. And she was like, first day this happened. So then she tried this on 2 other clients. And again, same thing. So she texted me again. So anytime I hear about something like this, like one time it's like, okay, 2, 3, okay, it's really an aha moment. So now smell took a little bit longer. Just got to stay with this, right? So again, the same way, taking it away from food, empty stomach. So we're now up to 15 different cases and counting that have all tried this little technique. So again, the key is away from food on an empty stomach. Normally we would recommend with food, but for this particular situation, it actually can help. Now, again, we're not making any claims, and all we would say is try this. But almost every single person that's tried this has got their sense of taste and smell back. Okay. Now, the other thing regarding this is why does this occur? So for those who are into the science and biochemistry, there's a protein called G protein. G is in girl. Okay. So we reached out to Dr. Judy Mikovits, who is a PhD molecular biochemist, and she did some research for us, and she found that one of the symptoms for COVID is it deactivates this protein, G protein pathway, which is connected to your olfactory sense of taste and smell. So for some, again, a combination of the Probzyme, which is chewables and which to me is the digestive enzymes and probiotics in a chewable format, again, away from food, apparently reactivates this G protein. So just a very cool another way of using the Probzyme. So again, might not pertain to you, but if you know anybody that has lost their sense of taste and smell, currently try the Probzyme away from food on an empty stomach. So just again, pretty amazing testimonials that we're getting with this. Okay, next, Frontier Biotics. So Frontier Biotics is your everyday probiotic. So once you don't have any issues, or you're just taking things for maintenance, preventative, that's where the Frontier Biotics comes into play. Typically just 1 or 2 a day is all you need. Again, it's a great value. We have it in a 90 size or a 180 size. Okay. There's one more probiotic not listed here, but it's SBC. SBC is, again, for Candida. It's also part of our Candida program with our Candy Kill. So we take Candy Kill in the morning and we take SBC at night. Also antibiotics. If somebody's on antibiotics, that has the most research to reduce antibiotic-associated diarrhea. Also for anybody traveling, that includes like going camping, anywhere where the water quality is different, to prevent Montezuma's revenge, which would definitely ruin your trip. Start taking SBC a week before your trip, and then during your trip, and then a week after. And then the other area where we recommend SBC would be for C. diff, which is still running rampant in hospitals and nursing homes. Can be deadly issue. So again, that's another probiotic there that we can help. And even greens can help with re-inoculation. Okay, the repair side. So again, fixing that screen door, the GI Complete, powder or capsules, fiber, and greens. But if we had to choose one, the GI Complete. And then the relief. So again, the acid reflux heartburn, again, take 2 at once with the Probzyme, wait 15 minutes, 9 times out of 10, it'll give you immediate relief. If you don't get 100% relief, then take 2 more. But most people, the 2 works really well. There's that SBC is referring to as far as diarrhea, especially antibiotic-associated diarrhea, and fiber can also help. But constipation, okay, so let's talk about that. Yes, GI Complete can help with that, but Frontier Cleanse is our colon cleanse, okay? So if that is an issue, there's a special way that I've seen Frontier Cleanse work the best. Clinically speaking, we recommend 4 capsules 1 hour after dinner. And for majority of people, they're going to have a bowel movement that night or by the next morning. If you do not, the next night, take 5 capsules, bump it up to 5. If you still do not, the next night, 6, okay? But most cases, 4 does the trick. Typically, the only people that we see that need to take higher dosing are people on pain meds like Oxycontin or chemo drugs, because those are 2 very, unfortunately, side effects from those hardcore drugs. Okay, so again, but whatever dose it takes, we just stay at that dosage until we finish the bottle. So again, a fantastic formula for constipation, if we're focusing on the colon. So I just want to mention that as well. Okay, so let's review. If you can just do 2 things, the GI Complete, if we're doing the powder, again, generally speaking, we start at 2 scoops, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. And you can do any of the probiotics, okay? But the Probzyme has, like I said, has the digestive enzymes and the probiotics in it, 1 with each meal. But if you have more serious issues, we would do the Superbiotic. Again, we start with 2, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Until you feel better, then we back it down to 1. And again, the Frontier Biotics, it says 3 to 6 per day. You don't even need to do 3 to 6. You can do 1 or 2 once the condition is under control. And again, if it's more gallbladder issue, that's where the Betazyme, take it with the last bite of each meal. All right. So this is the simplest, easiest GI program that we can possibly have, is simply doing GI Complete and probiotics. If you're doing, like I said, the Super, the Frontier, then you can add digestive enzymes like the Cytokines or Betazyme. But we can't make it any simpler, folks. And there are companies out there that I used to work for that was 5 or 6 things that we combined into basically 2 things here. So let's break these down a little bit more so you have a better understanding. The GI Complete, again, if If you had to just choose one thing, this would be it. Covers it all from top to bottom. It has a large amount of glutamine in the powder. As well, the capsules don't have as much. We're just limited in space. Okay. It has this very unique ingredient, arabinogalactin. Most people never heard of arabinogalactin, but they have heard of echinacea. So, as we've mentioned, 70 to 80% of your immune system in your stomach, right? So it's one of the active constituents of echinacea. It strengthens your immune system. It helps with good bacteria, and it helps with regularity. DMG, Jamie Dorley mentioned this earlier today at the opening ceremony. Of all the supplements, of all the ingredients I've studied, this is my favorite one. We could do a whole talk and whole hour just on this. We won't, I promise. But it is fantastic. It strengthens your immune. It had a U.S. patent on it to boost your immune system, as well as a patent on it that helps anti-inflammatory, detoxifies, and it's going to make all the ingredients that you're combining this with in this to make it even better, more absorbable. DGL, otherwise known as De-Glycerized Licorice. So, folks, this is not Twizzlers. This is an herb. It's been used for centuries. It calms down the inflammatory tract. It soothes and relaxes the intestinal tract as well. Aloe vera. Now, most people are familiar with aloe. It's been around, again, for many, many, many years. Numerous benefits. Antifungal, bacterial, viral. Again, calms the GI tract, detoxifies as well. So aloe is in the GI Complete. Slippery elm, again, it helps with colon, antifungal, bacterial, viral, detoxifies. And then we have marshmallow root. So this is not what you make with s'mores. This is an herb as well. Again, very calming, very soothing to the intestinal tract, and detoxifies as well. And then last but not least, this ingredient, Zinc Carnosine. So it's not just zinc. And again, zinc's in the news for your immune system. We know that absolutely helps with inhibiting viral replication. But we combine it with carnosine. Okay, so it's a very unique process that they use that makes it up to 3 times more absorbable than just zinc by itself or carnosine by itself. And there's actually tremendous research on this. In fact, over 20 published studies on the benefits that actually can help with indigestion, just this one ingredient. Now, when you combine it with everything else that's in there, that's in the GI Complete, you're going to get even faster results, right? So that is what we're trying to say here, that the GI Complete, and we have a new lemon lime flavor, which we've had fantastic results, feedback with. People love it. We also have it in a berry flavor. We also have it in a capsule. If you do the capsule, 5 capsules equals 1 scoop. So again, keep that in mind. If you're going to do the capsules, we start with 5 breakfast and 5 dinner. 10 capsules a day until you feel better, and then we back it down once you feel better. So the choice is yours. I prefer the powder. You're going to get the fastest and most effective way of taking this. Okay, so the Probzyme, we talked about it earlier. Just showing you for time purposes. We're just going to go through this pretty quickly. But 6 different strains of probiotics, 6 different digestive enzymes. Again, all of our probiotics are dairy-free. That's really important. Everything in our entire line is gluten-free as well. But I want people to have this vision, this picture. So if you can take a mental picture of this, just so we understand the next time you're tempted with the sweet, with cake, with ice cream, with something you should be eating that we all know we shouldn't be, right? This is what's happening in your intestinal tract. Okay, again, pretty disgusting, right? But that yeast, the parasites, the fungus, bacteria, the toxins all store. Okay, so this is what happens, a little snapshot of a picture of your GI tract. A lot of times people say, do I need to take a probiotic every day? Because a lot of people just take a probiotic if they're on an antibiotic or if they just have GI issues. And unless you eat 100% organic every single time, every single meal, every single day, which is virtually impossible, and you drink purified water, and you're not taking any medications, and you're living an extremely healthy life. So if you are, God bless you, but most people don't fit into this. So you need to take probiotics. The battle of good versus bad is happening every single day, 365 days a year. We're exposed to over more bacteria in our intestines than there's cells in our body. And there's over 1 trillion cells in our body. So think about that, folks, right? That is why you need to take a probiotic every single day, whether it's our Probzyme, whether it's our Frontier Biotic. I take the Frontier Biotic personally every single day. So it's very, very important. So again, there's research on every one of these strains that we're using in probiotics. They cover the entire GI tract, the L. acidophilus, the Bulgaricus, Lactobacillus, right? So we go on and on. The research is there, folks. We've done it all for you. That's the important thing we're just trying to emphasize. Okay, as far as that goes. So we've added the Probzyme and the Bacillus coagulans, right? That's a Spore Probiotic, which has gained a lot of attention in the news and in the supplemental world. So people say, do you have a Spore Probiotic? Yes, we do. It is in the Probzyme. So we just want people to be aware of that in case you did not know that as well. Okay, so to sum it up, we have lots of options. That's why it's always best to work with the healthcare practitioner. They can really personalize this for you. You know, like Jeff Nisnik or any of the other doctors here at the Weiner Center. But if I had to pick two, we always start with GI Complete, and we go with one of the probiotics and one of the digestive enzymes. Okay. We also have these brochures. Again, can help you and guide you through this process. Just a basic food guideline on things to eat every day in moderation and things that we should be avoiding. Okay, but we try to keep this as simple as possible. Okay, so everything, of course, is on special. Today is the last day for the special for the Weiner Week, so keep that in mind as far as that goes. But hopefully that makes sense. Much more than just GI, immune, depression, and even concussions. So hopefully we all learned a little bit today.
That was great, Mike. Thank you so much for that. And I like how you broke down everything so that people know how to use it, which is really important. So comments rolling in, very helpful and easy. Thank you. So make sure you get all your supplements at the Weiner Wellness Center, all 30 to 50% off anything Mike talked about today. And thanks for your time today, Mike. I'll let you get back down to answering questions.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have a great day.
All right, guys, stay tuned because Joe Messino is going to finish us out today, and he's going to be talking about the Sinatra protocol. So stay tuned. Coming up at noon.